2018 is starting off with a bang in terms of game releases, and without a doubt the most anticipated game of January is Monster Hunter World. It's the latest in the Monster Hunter franchise and has really captured gamers' attention unlike any other Monster Hunter game in the past. And we want to examine why that is and what you need to know before you drop your money on Monster Hunter World. In this video, we're going to take a look at 15 huge things to know about Monster Hunter World before you buy it. Let's get right into this. Number 1, in all of these videos, I always like to take a look at the history and lineage of these games, and many of you guys are probably a little unfamiliar with Monster Hunter. Well, it's been a big franchise in Japan, and in the West it's had reasonable success, but never has the series had the type of anticipation Monster Hunter World has had. Many would point to that reasoning being because of the complexity of the game, high learning curves, and the preference of console and PC gaming in Western audiences compared to the popularity of portable gaming in Japan, which Monster Hunter has been relegated to for a long time. Monster Hunter has been a big fixture to the PlayStation Portable as well as the Nintendo 3DS's libraries, and there were a couple of releases on the Wii U, and there was a release on the Nintendo Switch that was only released in Japan. However, now with the new consoles and PC gaming, there's a lot of potential for Monster Hunter on current-gen hardware, and the team over at Capcom felt that the new approach to the game would be something that would mesh well with Western audiences, and they started adopting a lot of Western standards in controls and interface design. There are more tutorials and fully voiced dialogue boxes that are more resemblant to a lot of games you would find in the West. And I also want to mention, many are surprised how quickly Monster Hunter World is releasing after its initial reveal, and while the game was just announced back at E3 2017 around 6-7 months ago, development for Monster Hunter World started 3 years prior to that, and that was following a year of brainstorming on what the next main game in the series would be. So you can tell they've been working on the game for a long time, and they revealed a nearly finished product at E3 2017, and that's how I personally think a lot of game releases should be done, but I won't get into that debate in this video. Number 2, so let's talk about the story in Monster Hunter World. Once every decade, elder dragons trek across the sea to travel to the land known as the New World in migration, referred to as the Elder Crossing. To get to the bottom of this, there is the research commission that is being dispatched in large fleets to the New World. As the commission sends its 5th fleet in pursuit of a colossal elder dragon, one hunter, the main character, Yu, is about to embark on a journey grander than anything they could have ever imagined. For those of you worried that Monster Hunter World would just be a collection of quests without any real story, don't be worried about that. The game will feature a story mode offered through the quest system, and unlike previous games where the story mode led the player through to complete the low rank quests before opening the game to more difficult high rank quests without a story driver, World will have a complete narrative that continues into the high rank quests as well. In addition to quests shipped with the game, Capcom plans to offer free downloadable quests similarly featured in the handheld versions.
Are you tracking the monster? It seems so easy. Walk on the trail, find the truth.
Next up, Monster Hunter World will obviously have several different areas to hunt in, divided into a set of numbered zones. However, unlike previous games where there would be a loading screen and traveling between each zone, making each zone a bit isolated from one another, World offers seamless travel between zones in the area. That's great to hear, and a big reason for that is obviously the transition to the current gen consoles as well as PCs. So if looking at the game wasn't enough to tell you that this hardware is being utilized, that should tell you even more so.
This should work as Slinger ammo. You can use it to hit things that are far away.
Next up, the game supports both single-player, both offline and online, and up to 4-player cooperative mode while online. Unfortunately, there is no local online multiplayer. A lot of games have been foregoing that, and that is unfortunate. The game's quest system will be the same in both modes. In the single-player mode, hunters can have their palico, assist them in combat, and if they are playing online, players can call for help from other players anywhere in the field by having their character launch a red flare, allowing other hunters to help, creating a drop-in, drop-out system, which is pretty cool. The game will also allow players in different regions to work together. However, players will be limited to cooperating with those on the same platform, and it will not feature cross-platform play between PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So PS4 players play with PS4 players, Xbox One with Xbox One, PC with PC. You get the idea. Next, Monster Hunter World will include all 14 weapon types from Monster Hunter 4 and Monster Hunter Generations. However, the hunting arts and the Prowler mode from Generations are not included in World's gameplay. Players will still be able to mount and try to topple monsters, and in some cases will be able to use their primary weapon for these attacks.
Time to embark once again and take on deadlier monsters. How will you choose to embark on your heroic adventure?
Next up, hunters this time around will be getting a new cloak item that can be worn for a certain period of time. Some of these cloaks will allow hunters to use stealth, giving them a chance to sneak up on a monster. Other cloaks can be used to even attract monsters to a specific location. Let's go over some of these mantles. The Ghillie Mantle conceals you from enemy view temporarily. However, the effect expires if you perform an attack or take damage. The Glider Mantle increases jump airtime and grants the power to ride stronger winds. It also makes it easier to mount monsters. The Rocksteady Mantle eliminates damage reactions, prevents wind effects, protects your hearing, and grants tremor resistance. You also receive less damage from attacks. And finally, there's the Challenger Mantle that prompts monsters to target you more often and makes them easier to lure. This effect expires if you are attacked. Next up, they'll also gain access to a tool called the Slinger. This tool can be used as a grappling hook to reach higher elevations or pull down rock formations. It can also be used as a slingshot to launch bullets that can damage or have debuffing effects on monsters, or it can be used to distract monsters to allow one to escape. Hunters can also use scout files to track down monsters. After finding enough signs of a monster's presence, such as footprints or mucus piles, the scout flies will lead you directly to the monster. They can also be used to search for other resources and can be trained to be more effective at their tracking skills.
We can see now the Scoutfly formation is way more dense, indicating we have a pretty good grasp of the monster's trail.
If you follow the scout flies to your target, you'll locate it in no time.
Next up, for travel, when you're outside of combat, players will have a way to quick travel to the region's base camps, where they can change out equipment and restock on items before setting out again. New in Monster Hunter World is the ability to change a weapon class while out in the field. In World, a new central hub called Orchestra is where players can buy and sell goods, craft new weapons, and gain new quests.
I like it.
We've got it all here. We've got hunters to do all the exploring, scholars to do the research, technicians to keep them going.
It's time to visit our fine friend, the Smithy. The Smithy uses...
Next up, Monster Hunter World will have daily login bonuses for the player to collect. This is pretty typical for a lot of multiplayer games. All you need to do is log in and claim it. These bonuses won't be super special, but it will include things like boosters, crafting items, or consumables. It doesn't take long to log in and acquire these free items, and they will pile up over time. Monster Hunter World will have a crossover cameo just like past Monster Hunter games. This time around, you'll be able to dress up like Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn if you're on PlayStation. You'll also be able to acquire Aloy's bow and full armor set, as well as Palico armor. Monster Hunter World will also feature something that's pretty typical in open world titles, and that's a dynamic day and night cycle. This can affect the behavior of some monsters mid-quest. As far as the environments go, parts of them are also destructible by hunters and monsters, such as breaking down walls to create new routes or causing a flood of water that washes creatures to a different area.
Of course. Awesome. Just making sure. You needed to know. You gotta have that element. All right, cool. Speaking of multiplayer, I'm hearing for the...
Next up, a wishlist feature has been implemented in Monster Hunter World. You can now register the equipment you would like to craft or upgrade to your wishlist and check the materials needed at any time during the game. You'll also be given a notification when you gather materials for the armor or weapons you have registered on your wishlist. Next up, for those of you that still aren't completely sold on the game and you want a taste of it before you drop your money on it, Capcom has recently announced that Monster Hunter World will host yet another round of beta testing, just before the game officially releases later this month. The next Monster Hunter World beta, just like the previous two, is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and this final beta takes place between January 19th and the 22nd. This upcoming beta will keep the hunt seen in the previous two betas and also add a new quest to hunt the Nergigante.
No joke. So yeah, that blue is just letting us know that, hey,
You're in for some trouble.
Okay.
That's just powerful, seeing that from the front there.
That's hardcore.
So, Nergigante is a super aggressive monster.
Okay. He looks like it.
And honestly, I mean, as good as Tokuro-san is at this game, he's showing up with some beginning level equipment.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't...
And finally, after you play the beta, you obviously want to know when the official game will be released. Well, Monster Hunter World will be releasing on January 26th for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, and Xbox One, Xbox One X. For those of you that want the game on PC, unfortunately, you will have to wait a little while. The PC version will be releasing sometime in fall of 2018. Expected to be a pretty good port. Capcom has done a good job with ports in the past, and if they're taking their time with it, that's probably going to be for the best. And if you want to take a look at a port that Capcom did recently, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen turned out great on PC, so hopefully Monster Hunter World follows suit.
What the heck is that?
So that wraps up 15 big things to know about Monster Hunter World before you buy. What do you think? Are you now sold on the game, or do you still need to check out a beta, or are you just completely soured from the game from your previous experiences? Monster Hunter just a franchise you don't like? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.